What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good day. I'm Brandon with EndFaze Games, and today I have a video from my perspective of why I think you guys who may be new to Sorcery or new to TCGs should join the Sorcery community and play Sorcery Contested Realm. So I think last week at some point I was in one of the Discords and I came across a video that now has about 11,000 views. It was from a channel called Eerie Island, and he was talking about why players are deciding to quit Magic, and he was, giving them an option from his perspective of being kind of new into Sorcery of why they should play Sorcery Contested Realm. I think this is great for the Sorcery community. I don't want anybody to quit any games, but if there's any reason why you're deciding that you no longer want to play your current TCG or there's some reason why you're thinking about switching to another one, he put forth some great thoughts and reasons as to why Sorcery is amazing. So I wanted to kind of put my perspective on things, as being an established player. I wasn't part of the Kickstarter or anything, but I did kind of want to spread the news and kind of piggyback off of that video and kind of, put my spin on things. So Sorcery, when it was announced and created, it was built as a collectible, old school boutique kitchen table TCG with one set a year. All of those elements, kind of hooked me straight from the beginning. With the hand-painted art, there's no AI artwork, the grid-based movement and site placement. It has a golden rule and, just be cool and do what the card says. It has, a great community, very cool players, some of the nicest players that I've played with in TCGs. It has various community groups on Facebook and Discord. And unlike Magic and some other TCGs right now, it doesn't have any outside IPs. Which I think is a big hot button issue with the Magic community right now. You got SpongeBob, you got Final Fantasy, you got Lord of the Rings, you got Spider-Man, you got Marvel. There's going to be more coming down the line, and Magic just doesn't kind of feel like Magic anymore. And I don't think that you're ever going to have to deal with that when it comes to Sorcery. They're just not going to do that. They're going to do their own thing. The one set a year allows them to focus on the hand-painted art, to get the play testing done, to get the art done the way they want it to be without, AI artwork, and, get the mechanics down to where you don't have to do any bans, you don't have to do any erratas, things like that. Right now, Alpha, I've said it in some of my other videos, Alpha is the collectible set. That was the Kickstarter part of Sorcery Contested Realm. And it looks like those cards are starting to come up in value a little bit. There's a very limited print run of the Alpha boxes, and the unique foils have a very low print run. I think there's like 280 of each. And that's if somebody is getting into Sorcery and they want to invest. Alpha is still down from their all-time highs. Now would probably still be a good time to buy those, but Alpha would be your investment set. Beta is available, and it's largely, to me, it's the game piece set. You do have foils in that are worth a good amount, but for the most part, you can get the beta singles relatively cheap, and it's just really easy to get into the game. The first expansion, called Arthurian Legends, just released this past October. It's a good sealed set, and it was kind of geared towards sealed and draft. That's readily available right now as well, and you can pick up singles for Arthurian Legends if you're just now entering into the Sorcery community. You're going to be able to find that readily available online, good deals at some LGSs, things like that. The game's only, like I said, it's in its second set, and the third one's on the way. And I think that will make people more inclined to enter into a new TCG. Right now, Grand Archive is a few sets in. I'm not too sure about Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Like, Pokemon has rotations, stuff like that. Magic has 30 years of cards. More people are more inclined to get into a TCG that they don't have to get a million cards for, or see what's legal, what's not, what format, this, that, or the other. Right now with 2 sets, with still a good amount of time before the 3rd set hits, I think it's another great time to get into Sorcery. Not to mention, like, you have, the summertime tournaments with the culmination of Gen Con and then the Avatar of the Realm sometime next year. It's just a great time to get in. The boxes, for the most part, are a great opening experience. AL's kind of the exception sometimes, but beta is just super fun to open. If you're just now getting into Sorcery, I would definitely, as like I like opening packs, in like, if somebody's going to get into Sorcery right now, my recommendation would be to buy the pre-con decks. You'll get 4 pre-constructed decks that you can then complete to the new deck requirements. You get 4 standard avatars with that, and then I think you get like a booster pack with that. I would recommend getting that. I would recommend getting a draft kit, which is it's a small pack of draft sites that would go along with the Arthurian Legends. And then I would try and get like 1 or 2 boxes of both sets, Beta and Arthurian Legends. My personal recommendation would be to do 2 Beta, 1 Arthurian Legends, and then buy singles from there. The rarity rule is another good thing about Sorcery. You're allowed to have 4. So they changed the name of common, uncommon, rare, and epic in Sorcery. It's ordinary, exceptional, elite, and unique. You're allowed to have 4 ordinaries, 3 exceptionals, 2 elites, and 1 unique of an individual card in your deck. And then the decks have to be 50 spells and 30 sites, which is another great thing about Sorcery. You're not going to go mana dry. You're not going to get mana screwed. You control where you draw from. You either draw a spell or a site each turn. So the rarity rule is cool. The deck layout is cool. And then the deck parity, as far as, winning decks. For the most part, there is one kind of overpowered avatar that the community is kind of locally banned out of certain events. But it looks like the next set is going to kind of right-size things as far as some hate towards that avatar. So I would expect, once Gothic hits, that particular avatar, which is called Archmago, would probably become locally unbanned. He's not officially banned. I think that when Gothic hits, like, people are going to see, okay, what's the real deal with Archmago with the new Gothic set. Boxes right now are reasonably priced. If you wanted to check out the game first before investing any of your hard-earned money, you can download Tabletop Simulator for PC. It's on Steam, and it's got free mods to it, which you can install free mods for countless other tabletop games and TCGs. I think it's usually like $20, and I think it's usually on sale for 10 or 15 bucks. But then you'll have that forever, and then you can test out any deck or game that you are thinking about getting into before you actually buy it in paper. So that's good. But the boxes are very reasonably priced. Beta boxes are $150 MSRP. Usually you can get a $10 to $20 wiggle room on that. Arthurian Legends MSRP is $129. And usually you can get that between around the $90 to $100 range. Because it is a little bit of a different opening experience as far as Arthurian Legends being compared to Beta. If you just wanted to hop in and have every card, every playset, right now, like I said, is a perfect time. You can get playsets of every card in Beta right now from various online sellers. TCG Player, one of the big Sorcery community sellers, is Cold Foil Heroes. Steve, he has a website, and tons of singles and tons of great deals on there. And then players just have play sets, built and ready to sell because, people have opened a ton of beta and Arthurian Legends. I think you can get play sets of everything in beta for around $600 to $700. And then Arthurian Legends probably between $500 and $600 for play sets of every card out of the set. So for roughly, I'd say between a super good deal, $1,100 to like $1,200, plus shipping, whatever you do with that, you would have every card in the game, play sets of everything, be ready to roll, and then you can go from there. Foils are the main collectible pieces, and those are going to be the cards that are going to be worth the most money. Sorcery doesn't have different treatments of cards. They just have a non-foil and a foil version, and then the foil version is pretty awesome because on the back side, where it would normally say Sorcery Contested Realm, it just has the full art of the card, so that way you can appreciate that hand-painted art. For collectors, the art side of things, there's a great side of the game with that. You have alters, you have people that go after the actual paintings of these cards, and if you're into that kind of thing, I'd send you to Collector Art House, where Mike, he does all kinds of great things for the art side of the game. He does sample pack openings. He still does alpha box breaks, where you can buy a few alpha packs instead of having to buy a whole box. You can just go in and buy a few packs and see what you can hit. And it's just super cool to see, like Cold Foil Heroes, Collector Art House, tons of other ones that, just love this game so much, and it just makes the community all that much better. Sorcery is a great main game, but it's also probably the perfect secondary game. Sorcery is my main game. I love it so much. The grid-based mechanics, the deck building, the art, it got me hooked from the very beginning. Organized play is growing and the community is growing. With that video from Eerie Island getting so many views, and then I believe a lot of the sellers, and just with like TCG player metrics right now, sales are up right now. I think people are getting really hyped for the tournament season, and they're just gearing up for Gothic. And then the one set a year just allows you to take your time in collecting what you decide to collect, or what play sets you go after, or how quick you bling out your deck, that kind of thing. The marketing for the game could always be better. That's my one thing right now. I hope that they ramp up the marketing. Maybe they could go to a few more cons or collecticons this coming year, or maybe next year as well. I don't know, how early you need to buy a booth or a setup at these conventions, but I know they hit Gen Con pretty hard. They hit Spiel Essen last year pretty good in Germany, I believe. That's where that was. Could be wrong on that, but I would like to see them, hit more conventions going forward. What to look forward to with Sorcery once you're in it. This game is going to stay true to its mission. It's going to be one set a year. It's going to be hand-painted art. There might be some delays along the way. There might be some, some bumps in the road, but Sorcery is such a cool game with the old school feel, and just how the games play out. Like I said, the one set a year, no AI artwork, no other outside IPs. Gothic is going to release later this year, likely with new mechanics, and it's going to have a ton of new avatars. From what we've heard so far, it's going to be a bigger set. Beta was like 403 cards. Arthurian Legends, I think, was like 220. I will expect Gothic to be in the 400 range again. They did say it's going to have quite a few avatars, and it's going to be able to stand on its own. So I think the power level is going to go up. Arthurian Legends kind of bumped up the power level with Charge, which is Sorcery's version of Haste if you're coming from Magic. But I just think that Gothic is just going to bring in a ton of new players, Hopefully it can release on time, but I don't want them to rush it. I'd rather them get it, perfect from the beginning, and just get it out there. This year we also do have the Dragon Lord mini set. It's a 13 card mini set that will be releasing any moment now. They've dropped some Easter eggs here and there about Dragon Lord hatching soon. So we got that. I think they have quite a few sets planned. I want to say that they had 7 or 8 in the books of like ideas or what they were planning. So if that's the case, that's 7 or 8 more years of sorcery, which is awesome because like I said, one set a year, it's just so easy to get into this game. It's so good. Every game is different when you play sorcery, and I've never had a bad game of sorcery. I've been, wiped out completely real quick. Like there's no turn 1 wins. There's no really super like oppressive infinite combos that you can like pop off turn 2. Like there are some infinite things that you have to just get absolutely perfect, and it's later in the game. And usually if you can pull off there's like 2 infinite combos in sorcery. If you can pull them off, you are going to win anyway. But I've not had a bad game of sorcery. Usually they're very fun. The Death's Door mechanic just changes the game completely. And I just think that every game of sorcery is completely different. It tells its own story. And it's just so much fun. I don't want the point of this video to be to quit your game and play sorcery. I would just recommend just trying it out, even if it's just on TTS. There's a huge online presence for sorcery for Tabletop Simulator. Once you buy that initial Tabletop Simulator game, you have, like I said earlier, you have any game that you can imagine free mods for that Tabletop Simulator. So you'll definitely get your money's worth for that game. So just try it out and see if you like it. And then if you really do like it, go to your LGS and ask them to buy sorcery and try and grow a local group. Because playing sorcery in person, there's nothing like it. It's so good. TCGs right now have a very competitive market. And I think right now is the best time to be involved in TCGs. There's money to be made in some aspects of all TCGs right now. But right now, as far as like just playing a game, sorcery is such a great game to play. So yeah, I think right now, with all of that being said, I think right now is the perfect time to get into Sorcery Contested Realm. Get you some cards. On this channel, I try to do some sit-down videos like this, just to kind of talk to the camera every once in a while, do some gameplay videos. I'm going to try and record some gameplay this weekend at the Chicago Explorer Series event, which is a fan-run series of tournaments. So hopefully I can get that done, and then I'll have other sorcery content here, as well as some other card games as well. So thank you very much for watching. If you end up, if this somehow is your first time hearing about sorcery, tell me what you think about it in the comments below. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, leave a comment. I'm in some of the Discords. And then if you just leave a comment here, I can find a way to get in touch with you. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe. I'll catch you next time. See ya.